I had witnessed the majestic, ticked off the big five off my list, had an awesome time with the gents, and now it was time for the bush lady to rejoin me in Crocodile Bridge. We had agreed that we would take it easy this time around and not cover long distances in search of epic sightings. Hello everybody, I'm Karawa, your Northern Bushman, and welcome to episode 3 of this series. I first started by setting up camp so that I wouldn't have to do it in the heat of the day. Then went out the park via Crocodile Bridge in order to pick up my wife in Malelane. Someone is back.
I'm back.
I told her about the lion sighting and the python sighting.
Oh, I missed out.
Oh boy.
So sad.
I could feel her pain.
It's okay. I'll find my own sightings. We'll see.
We'll see. Maybe she'll get us a leopard.
And wild dogs.
And wild dogs, yes, of course. We'll see.
Sure.
I had seen this pride just the other day, at exactly the same spot where they are today. In this heat, animals really don't move around much. Because it was very hot upon re-entry into the park, we decided to go to Thandanyathi hide. At least the hide is always cool and one can spend a couple of hours there without taking note of the time. When is the best time to visit a hide? For us, it's usually early in the morning, if by miracle we manage to leave camp early, or in the late afternoon. But sometimes we do go to a hide in the middle of the day, especially when the bush is this quiet. We had spent about an hour and a half at the hide. The thought of driving back to camp never crossed our minds, but obviously we had to leave at some point. As we were about to leave, elephants appeared at a distance, and eventually they were right by the hide. The Ellies were now literally 2 meters from the hide lookout. This was as close as we've ever been to wild elephants. We were now running out of time, but couldn't leave because the Ellies were blocking us. But eventually, we had a small window of opportunity and managed to drive back to camp. In case you're wondering which type of meat this is, it's actually the picanha, but it's the rump tail cut. It's juicy and full of flavor. It's definitely a steak fit for the bush. This day started off on the S28. We had been told of a cheetah sighting near Thandanyathi, but the cheetahs were far from the road, so this sighting would require some patience. Thankfully, our lens was sufficient enough to get us close to the action. Something interesting was hopefully about to happen. A sounder of warthogs were approaching and walking in the direction of the cheetahs. We didn't get the action we had hoped for. After being intimidated by a bunch of pigs, the cheetahs bolted. Kudos to Pumbaa. You wanna hear a fun fact? We had never been to the hippo pools, so we went there before heading back to camp. Our reasons for going back to camp were because we didn't want to be driving around all day in this heat, and also just to take a break from being on the road. We went out again and tried the S25, which is where we found these lions. They were napping for most of the time, but they were next to the road. It was at this point that we decided to leave them to their late afternoon nap, and it was now time to head back to camp and prepare some dinner. Because we had been in the park for some days, we felt very relaxed and settled. We were even craving some pap and some nicely marbled chuck cuts. On our last night in the park, we had planned to have some lunch in Lower Sabie, but we started off on the S25, S26, H5 before rejoining the H422. On the S26, we were really fortunate to have spotted these lionesses feeding on a water kill. In Lower Sabie, we parked on the fringes of the campsite for some shade and then walked to the restaurant. We didn't want to be driving in an oven after our lunch. There's just something special about having a meal on the deck while on safari. As the animals roam freely with a cold beer in your hand, it just makes one feel like a rich tourist from overseas. Our bellies were full and we were now ready to hit the road again. The only negative thing to point out was that anxiety was starting to kick in because this was our last night. On the turn off to the hippo pools, we came across this sickly giraffe. Not sure what kind of sickness it may have had, but hopefully there wasn't much pain or constant itchiness. The last day is never a pleasant one. The packing up and the thought of driving towards the exit is just unbearable, but it is what it is. We didn't want to exit the park right away, so we took the S25 and joined the H3 via the S113. We even managed to pass by Mpondo Dam, where we hadn't been in several visits to the park. About 10 kilometers after joining the H3, lions had taken down a giraffe, and surprisingly enough, there were very few cars at this sighting. November had just become our favorite month to visit the park. While we were still enjoying this sighting, one of the cars at this sighting told us about a wild dog sighting on the S21 just after Renosta. We determined that the wild dog sighting would probably be about 20 kilometers back in the direction of Skukuza. It was a tough decision to make, but the bush lady really wanted to see some wild dogs, even if it was just one wild dog. So we grabbed our courage and went in search of the painted wolves. On our way to the wild dogs wishful sighting, we saw these lions. But then again, we couldn't stay for long because we had done about 15 kilometers, so we were deeply invested on the wild dogs. By the stroke of some bush luck, we found the wild dogs. Though some of them were deep in the bush, the bet had paid off. This is why we love the bush. We checked out the 2 lion sightings prior to the wild dog sightings, but there just wasn't enough time to truly enjoy them. We took a chance on the gravel roads in search of some rhinos. We were lucky enough to spot them. This was the cherry on top. Rhino sightings are not guaranteed in the Kruger. Wait until you don't see a single rhino on a 4-night stay in the park, so you should always appreciate every rhino sighting. We appreciate your continued support. By simply watching, we grow. And to all our subscribers, stay blessed. Peace be with you. Till next time.